Hey everybody, this is Cheap Comic Collector. Thanks for joining me today. This is episode number 252, and today we're just going to do our usual thing where we go through a few of the books that I've been reading lately. Let me get that glare out of there. There we go. So this first one is the Human Torch comics. It's a one-shot that Marvel did for their 70th anniversary in 2009. They brought back the old Timely Comics logo for these. They did a whole series of these one-shots. I think they did like a Marvel Mystery Comics one and Daring Comics and stuff like that. So this one features the Human Torch, and it's got a new story in the front by Scott Snyder and Scott Wagoner. And it was pretty good. It's kind of a almost a day in the life style story, except it takes place over about a week. Back when the Human Torch was new and people didn't know whether they thought of him as a hero or a monster yet. You know, the differences of opinion on that in here, and the Warren Worthington the First makes an appearance, and also they mentioned Howard Stark at one point. I don't think he actually made an appearance. He may have, just as a background character, but it was pretty good with the Torch kind of learning about human emotions and the fact that you know, some people view him as a monster because he's a robot and it's as something that needs to be controlled. And so the story was pretty good. The art, you know, wasn't real impressive. It was so-so. We should talk about the cover a little bit too. The cover is interesting. It's by I don't know how to pronounce the name, Adi Granov, something like that. And there's also a variant cover by Marcos Martin. So I don't know which one this is. Believe it's the regular by Adi Granov. But, you know, this didn't look like the Human Torch to me. So what it's actually depicting, and it took me a minute to realize it, is it's you know, the robot body, the android body of the Human Torch without the skin cover-up. And he's either, you know, in middle of either turning on his flame or turning it off. So that's why it looks a little bit different. It didn't quite look like the Human Torch. And that's actually pretty cool once you realize what it is. I just didn't, at first I was like, well, that's not the Human Torch. What is that? But of course that's actually pretty cool. So. And then the backup story is a story that was reprinted from Human Torch Comics number 2, 1940, which of course was the first issue of that series. Number 1 was actually Red Raven Comics, I believe. And this was written by Carl Burgos. It does say that other people may have written or may have worked on it, including you know, people at Funnies Inc., Joe Simon, Sid Green, Harry Sable. They don't really know for sure. So, but Carl Burgos obviously did most of the heavy lifting on it, if nothing else. So, and this was the first appearance of Toro, and it's, you know, it's a decent story. It's the art's a, you know, kind of typical Golden Age stuff, and the writing is not as concise as maybe you'd like it as a modern day comic, but still, I mean, Golden Age goodness. The first appearance of Toro and kind of his origin story, and just very cool. And then it actually had a preview of New Mutants number 1 in the back, so you do get a little taste of modern era. So actually, pretty cool comic. I enjoyed it. And of course I have, I don't know, it's something about the old characters that I like a lot. And then we have Uncle Scrooge 141. This one is from 1977. And it reprinted a story from Uncle Scrooge 42. So this is a Carl Barks story. It's the case of the sticky money. And I didn't remember reading this one. I'm pretty sure I've read it because I kind of remember this scene with the Beagle Boys getting, coming through town with their limousine and their bodyguards or whatever you want to call them. But basically, they've stolen a bunch of money, and Scrooge is worried that it's his money. He doesn't know where they're getting it from, and then he realizes it is his money because he knows the serial numbers, and of course every dollar he has. So he discovers there's money missing, but they can't figure out how it's being done. And he shows up with lawyers and cops and so forth, and the Beagle Boys have moved into this new mansion here with their money that they've stolen, and so it's a pretty neat story. It's fun, and turns out that the way they're stealing the money is with this snake-like robotic vacuum hose that climbs up the money bin and goes through an air vent. And of course, with the nephew's help, they get it back. So, cool story, kind of typical Carl Barks of the period, but fun. And then there's a Mickey Mouse backup, which I believe is new, judging by the codes and stuff on the page. There isn't anything except a W for Western Publishing, so or Whitman or whatever. But anyway, the nephews want to know where the word banana comes from, and so Mickey explains it to them, and it all turns out to be kind of a bad joke. So at the end, Goofy says it's a good thing I've got a poor imagination because I imagine I'd punch Mickey right in the nose. So I don't remember ever seeing Goofy mad at Mickey before, so that's kind of cool. And then there's a text story backup. So it was a fun issue. Goofy's garage sale. I might actually have to read that one since it's garage sales. Maybe there's comic books. Let's see. Next up, we got Pink Panther. He's got some pets for sale. So kind of a fun cover. And this one's from 1977, number 43. And it's got the Captain Marvel Killer Bee from Outer Space Twinkies ad. And then the Pink Panther is just kind of typical Pink Panther stories. They were amusing, but nothing really stands out in them. Pink Panther tries to steal this guy's picnic basket and ends up stealing his baby by mistake because he's in the basket. And then so there's a story of just quick gags as he tries to find somebody to take care of the baby so he's not stuck with it. And then the second story, Extinct Pink, deals with him helping an archaeologist try and find a animal that's supposed to be extinct, only it turns out that it's not. And then you have an inspector story called See, Sir, which obviously is inspired by the old Jack Benny bit with Mel Blanc, where Mel Blanc plays a Mexican and answers everything with "si" or "sigh," which is pretty hilarious if you've ever seen it. And then we finish up with a short Pink Panther called In the Pink, where he tries to catch what he thinks is a robber, but he's wrong. So like I said, it was amusing, but nothing fantastic about it. And then we have possibly the weirdest comic book cover that I've ever come across. Lex Luthor and Porky Pig, #1. So, yeah, as we've seen before, DC did this series of with Hanna-Barbera characters, but apparently they did some with the Looney Tunes characters here, because we have Lex Luthor and Porky Pig, and this isn't just a special cover. This is the whole comic is this. So there's something very I don't know, grotesque about this cover that I don't know, makes me cringe a little bit, and the way that Porky's drawn as a pig in the story is a little bit off. Anyway, he made a fortune in with cybercurrency, and then lost all of it overnight. And Lex Luthor hires him and basically sets him up as a fall guy for things that Lex Luthor is doing wrong. And so it was a little bit interesting. Got a little bit preachy towards the end, instead of just being a funny story. And at the end, Porky goes to jail. So it's, you know, don't really know why they... it wasn't a good story, but you do have a cameo by flag versions of Yosemite Sam and the Tasmanian Devil here. I believe who that is. I don't know who the bulldog guy over here would be. And then it goes into a story that has Porky drawn in the traditional way. This one's, let's see, forgot to do credits. The main story with the weird Porky Pig was written by writer Mark Russell, pencils by Brad Walker, inks by Andrew Hennessy. And then the backup story was, which is again Porky Pig and Lex Luthor, instead of doing a different team, is Jim Fanning was the writer, and John Loder was the penciler, and Paul Lopez was the inker. So this has to do with Porky Pig going into the LexCorp offices to try and sell his line of office supplies. And Lex Luthor is only interested in things that can kill Superman. So it's just like a little, yeah, it's a cartoon version of a meetup between the two of them. So it's pretty cool. Actually, I like that better than I did the first story, mostly because the art was done in the cartoon style. But so yeah, so no other, no ads for any other comics in this line. So I don't know how much of these they did with the Looney Tunes characters. I know they did all those one-shots with the Hanna-Barbera characters, but I think this is my first one with the Looney Tunes characters in it. So different. And then besides those four, I'd also been reading through the first, well, this is actually the second Grayson trade paperback that I got a little while ago. So I've been reading like one issue's worth of the story every night for a while. I missed a couple nights because I fell asleep, but these stories are pretty good. I've been enjoying it. It's for the most part, they're one-shot stories. They're not, even though there's an overall continuation of what's going on, there's each issue is pretty much the same, not the same, but the what do I want to say, it's just a one-shot story. It's not continued per se into the next story. So that makes for it's a nice change of pace for a superhero style story. And these are very much spy stories rather than superhero stories. But and the writer's Tom King with Tim Seeley helping, and Mikhail Janin did the art, and it's been good. It's been good. Like I said, I don't know if it's a series I would buy one shot at a time, but buying it in a book format, and if I remember right, this was only 50 cents, so I got a steal on it. But it's been good. It's been good. It's been, I haven't been disappointed in the stories at all. So it is a good one. I'm not quite done with this one yet. And this last issue that I read, and I don't know which, because they don't print the actual cover, they just print artwork, I guess, from them. So I don't know which, I don't know where I'm at. You know, this book is supposed to publish stories from 5 through 8 and the annual number 1. So I think the story I just finished is probably number 8, because I'm almost to the end. And in this one, the artist changed somewhere. This one is actually written by, or drawn by Stefan Mooney. I didn't notice there was any special art change, but this one doesn't actually feature. I mean, it does. It features Dick Grayson undercover. So, you know, you go through the whole issue not knowing whether that's him or not. You think maybe it is at some point, and then they kind of reveal that it's him before the actual reveal at the very end of the story. But so that was kind of neat. It was an issue where, you know, it wasn't Nightwing, he wasn't Dick Grayson, he was just undercover as somebody else. So that was kind of cool. Different, really different than what the norm is, you know. And then this is what I haven't read yet. So I guess this is probably the annual, but it doesn't seem like it's got enough pages there to be the annual. So maybe this is issue number 8, and the annual was actually somewhere back here that I read, and I just didn't realize it was an extra long story. I don't know. And then you have a variant covered gallery. So this is variant covers from issues 5 through 8, it says. So this one's kind of neat. It looks like a movie poster. And then there's cover sketches for number 5, number 6. So it's neat. The only thing I don't really like about it is it doesn't give you the actual cover. It just and I like the fact that they do this to give you the artwork without the logos. But I would like to see the actual cover at some point too. Maybe they could do that like on the, you know, they don't have like a table of contents. There's nothing on the inside, so there's easily room where they could do a little bit more. But then they do give you the cover variant sketches and stuff at the end, so yeah, it's a good book, and it's especially a good book for 50 cents. But as far as the regular issues go, what did I like the most? Uncle Scrooge, always my favorite most of the time. It's got to be really good to beat Uncle Scrooge by Carl Barks. And then probably Human Torch, Pink Panther. You know, Lex Luthor, Porky Pig, I thought I'd get a kick out of it, and I didn't really like it that much. The artwork of Porky as a human character just really creepy. So, alright everybody, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with What am I doing tomorrow? Trade books. Yeah, there's enough books in the trade pile where we're going to go through them and show you what's up for trade. We'll get those put into the new trade list, and we'll get some new trades going, hopefully. So, and then, of course, after that on Saturday, we'll... well, actually, no, I may or may not be broadcasting this Saturday. We won't be doing a claim sale. I'm going to try and go live from the Comics Den. But honestly, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think I'm going to have a good enough signal to be able to go live. So, but I'll hit the button and see what happens. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Please tune in tomorrow, and please like and subscribe. Have a great day.